Good afternoon, this is Chris with Westside Technology Solutions. Today, I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite Payload CMS features, which is code-based configuration for things like fields, collections, and more. If you're like me and you appreciate having full control over your development process, you'll definitely want to hear this, so let's take a look. Like I said, one of the main reasons I prefer Payload CMS is its code-based configuration. Whether it's fields, collections, relationships, everything is configured in JavaScript or TypeScript. For me, this is very important, and here's why. Having everything in code means you can take full advantage of your developer tools. Things like auto-completion, linting, error checking, they're built right in, which reduces the chance of making mistakes. Plus, because you're using a real programming language to define your fields, you can use conditionals, loops, or even dynamic imports to make your configurations truly flexible and take full control. So this is what a collection might look like for Payload CMS. And why is this important, really? Well, one thing that I really like is it makes the field reusable in the project. It makes it super easy. Say I've created a complex field and I want to use it in a matrix block type field. In Payload, I can define that block one time in my code and then reuse it across collections or parts of the site without having to rebuild it each time. In something like Craft CMS, you'd have to go into the admin panel like this and manually recreate each field for each section. This can be tricky when dealing with fields that need to be highly modular or dynamic. Payload gives me that freedom where I can't really do that here. If I wanted to use this copy block inside of a different matrix block, or just as a field, I would have to remake it completely. Being able to reuse it saves me time, makes me more efficient, and reduces the risk of error in my code and configuration. Craft really is great in its own way, and I've used this for a very long time. And yes, this can be really good for smaller projects or even non-developers who can't create fields in code. But if you're working on a larger, more complex build, or you're a developer who thrives in code, it can feel limiting at times. A configuration system like this also does really help when you're working on a team. In Payload, because everything is code-based, your entire team can work in sync a little bit more easily. There's no disconnect between what's happening in the admin panel and what's in your code base. Everyone works in the same environment following the same processes. In Craft CMS, developers often find themselves going back and forth between the admin panel and their code base. It creates an unnecessary divide and increases the risk of things being out of sync. With Payload, everything is integrated, making collaboration feel a lot easier. One of the nicer things is that in Payload, there's only one source of truth, which is this code-based configuration. In Craft CMS, you update the fields in the admin panel, it updates a YAML file automatically, and then when you are in Craft pushing it to your live server, it compares the YAML file to your database. And then you kind of have to choose which one you want to be the source of truth, which can get messy when you're working with multiple developers on the same project. To be fair, Craft has come a long way, but Payload makes this so much easier. If you're a developer who enjoys working directly in code and wants to maximize the reusability and team collaboration, Payload CMS is definitely worth a try. This doesn't even include a lot of the other features that I like about it. Today, I'm only talking about the code-based configuration, which definitely is one of my favorite features. If you've had any experience with Payload or Craft, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.